Peace be unto you, my beloved people. We wanted to make a short video on reparation for the indigenous ex-slaves here in the United States of America in particular. Now, I know that there are many splinter organizations or even individuals who are embarking upon the task of going about getting reparation. I think that it is a major mistake, not the idea of reparation, but I think it's a major mistake for us to be pursuing reparation, and we haven't sat down as a community and come up with a viable strategy to go after reparations. I think it's a major mistake to go asking anyone else what we should do, or to, out of the goodness of their heart, give us reparation. I don't think that that is the proper way to embark upon that task. I think what we need to do, number one, is learn everything that there is to learn about reparation and come together as a community with a strategy to go forth with getting reparation. I think it is extremely important that in our going for reparation, to be very careful with the individuals or organizations that go and ask or seek reparation on our behalf, because we have to make sure that whoever is going forward understand completely that we are seeking reparation for the indigenous ex-slaves descendants here in this country. We are not seeking reparation for all so-called Black people in this country, especially those that come from other places who have not experienced the harm that was done to us here as an indigenous people, indigenous so-called Black people here in America. And we are not talking about omitting anyone's claim for reparation that aren't so-called Black people here in America, because we believe that all of the darker people of the world is due reparation. But it's a question of who did damage to who. Because the people, the Black people in the islands, they deserve reparation, but they wasn't harmed necessarily by the American government and businesses in America. Their claim may be from Europe, the British, and in particular, what they went through in those particular islands. But I think that it is a major mistake for us to lump in with them because that is a thing that has happened to us, the indigenous ex-slaves, the black people here in America, is that there are things that was designed that should be designed specifically for us and by other people coming in who are number one more organized and taking what is due us. I was looking at and I'm not going to mention them by name, an organization here within this country. They're going for reparation. They want to go for reparation. But they have their hands in the islands. They have their hands overseas, in Europe, in Africa, and they're putting us all like in a big pot. That will work for that organization, maybe. But I don't believe that it's going to work for us here in North America. In particular, because we have a specific damage that was done to us. Yes, the black people of the earth have been damaged. But one of the tricks that the people, the Europeans, the Caucasians, so-called white man here in America did, was that there was amendments that was initially designed for the black man, the so-called black man and woman of America. But they skillfully, in their efforts, in fact, and they're not wanting to give us anything. Well, in particular, for the black ex-slaves of this country, they inserted certain terminology within the 13th and 14th and 15th Amendment that robbed us of what they were supposedly giving us. Because those amendments were to combat things that was done earlier to rob us of what is due us, our 40 acres and a mule, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So these amendments to the Constitution were established particularly for the black people here in North America, the ex-slaves that was here, that experienced slavery. Our forefathers experienced slavery, and some of us experienced Jim Crow. It's not something that happened way back then. I experienced within my lifetime Jim Crow because I was raised up in Louisiana. So for those so-called wise white men in the Senate or Congress that say this is something that happened many, many years ago, I beg to differ with you. And just because it is something that happened many, many years ago doesn't rob you of your responsibility. However, you created these amendments, the 13th, 14th, and 15th, for blacks here in America. But you inserted one little word, minority. So that meant that anyone in this country that was classified as a minority got the benefits of what was supposed to be for us, in particular, white women, any other people that came to this country from other who fitted into that minority, they received those benefits and not us. And if those individuals that are going after reparation is not aware of the tricks that are played, we'll find ourselves, they said, we're going to give y'all X amount of dollars in reparation because we want to look out for the minorities of the earth, the minorities here in America. No, we don't want reparation for minorities. We want reparation for Black people, so-called Black people here in America that was children of descendant slaves who experienced and went through Jim Crowism. Now, if you want to do something for the rest of the minorities of this country, feel free to do so. But we are not falling for that trick again. And I'm talking particularly to our brothers and sisters who are going after reparation. You have to know the tricks that have been laid out to strip us of anything that we're supposed to have. Again, I strongly suggest, as I did in the last post, I strongly suggest to read Dr. Claude Anderson books. And you can read any other book that you want to read. But I know that Dr. Claude Anderson, in his books, caught the trick. And anybody that is going after reparation, please read Dr. Anderson books. The man is not an enemy of ours. I hear what they argument. Oh, he's old, and that stuff applied back then. Read the man's material carefully. Because anyone that is going after reparation, we are watching you. And it's not going to be something that is going to benefit any particular organization. Reparation should not be went for and then uh, under the umbrella of some nonprofit organization. The 501c3. We need to sit down and discuss these things amongst ourselves first before we go running to white folks. Because they look at us as though we are very foolish. And we must understand that if you give us white people anything, don't fucking try to tell us what to do with it. That's for us to decide. I remember we established an organization, and we went and wrote a proposal for a grant from Chase Bank to assist us They gave us $100,000 grant. And with that grant, they decided what we did with the money. The first thing they wanted us to do was the group that put in for the grant, we should be educated. So we shouldn't be accepting any money from anybody telling us what to do with the money. Because that $100,000 was squandered on the people of the organization, the so-called leaders. How much of that $100,000 got to the actual community? None. If they gave us the $100,000, we could have taken that money and went and began to buy up properties within the community to establish some type of economical base to build from. But instead, they told us that we had to educate the leaders of the group. So the money was gone. What the hell good is education if you don't got no money to utilize to make that educational beneficial? So that's why I say give give us what you're gonna give us. Then once you give it to us, shut your fucking mouth. We don't want to hear nothing from you. But now I understand, I'm not stupid. I know that you're giving money, and we should be able to show you what we did with that money toward the end that we say that we wanted it for. But I think that better use of that money could have been made than educating the committee that was embarked upon the task of revitalizing a certain aspect of the community. So that should be one thing that we should understand in our requesting anything. Let nobody tell you what the hell you got to do with money. If you're gonna do that, keep the damn money because you're not benefiting us at all. It's important, my beloved people, that we have a plan, we have a strategy. Very, very important. It's important that we have an intelligentsia to know all of the tricks that are being played on the indigenous ex-slaves of this country, the children of the ex-slaves, that they forever want us to be an underclass. And everything that they do it with that in mind. It's up to us to say no more. I mean, if we have to do as the American Indians did, establish our sovereignty within this economical plan, that this reparation that is being given, that hey, we want land, because without land you ain't got nothing. And our land is a sovereign land, can't be taxed. So what good if you give me $1 million and 500,000 of it is gone in taxes? We don't want to write no individual checks. Don't want you to write no individual checks. We will write the checks ourselves. We want to set up treaties with the United States of America, and we will deal with you as an independent nation dealing with an independent nation. Establish treaties, you stay out of our business. I'm talking to the government of America, to the Senate. Well, we don't know who is the who are the direct descendants of the slaves. In other words, who is black, who is deserving. Don't play games with us. Who did you consider to be blacks in slavery? What was the criteria that you used then? Don't play games with us today. Because we're not interested in individuals getting wealthy. Yes, individuals should get some money, but we're talking about establishing and lifting up a community. And that is something that we have to discuss. I'm talking to black people, ex-slaves here in America. That is something that we have to come together and discuss. And we have to eliminate any freaking crook, whether they're white or black, who's going to come to rob us of 1 penny. We will institute our laws, and we will deal with any thief that want to set up here and take anything from us. I'm talking about anybody, myself included. Not 1 penny can go to anything but the development and building of the whole black community. So if people think that they're going to put together an organization and they're going to benefit from this individually, if they think that they're going to take 1 penny of the reparation money that is due to blacks here in America and give it to anybody else. Wrong people. You're not giving it to Hispanics. You're not giving it to Indians. You're not giving it to anyone from the islands. There are avenues for them to get whatever reparation is due them. When you gave the money to the Japanese, you didn't include all minorities in that. When you gave money to the Jews, you didn't include all minorities in that. When you gave it to the Indians, you did not include all minorities in that. So why play that foolish game with us? Because you think that we'll steal your fucking niggers. We are not. I must warn you. And I must warn these in our community. We have to rethink this whole thing. Dear beloved people, there's much to do. Again, we're up to the task. But this is just a little message that we're putting out to our people and anyone else that's looking, is that we have to take care of us first. We have to get us into this race to win. Peace be unto you, my beloved people. We will be in touch again, but I thought it was important that we address this reparation thing because there are a lot of people jumping on board. And another thing we have to be careful about is we don't want a bunch of people running off to court. So if the time comes where we have to go to court, we have to make sure that all of our I's are dotted and T's are crossed. Because to go to court and lose sets a precedent. This is too important for us to haphazardly do this. We have to give great thought to it. And we have to have a cross section of the community involved. Too many times we've had nigger leaders take over stuff and rob the whole of the people of what is due them. And a lot of these cotton picking people have to be visited at 12 midnight because they don't have our best interests at heart. We have to let people know that if you're going to claim that you are our leader, there is a huge responsibility that you're taking. It's not something to be dealt with lightly. We will be watching you, and we will deal with anyone that want to come in and rob our people. That can't be. That will never, ever be again. We've had leaders in position 30, 40, 50, 60 years. What the hell have you done for us? Besides enrich yourself. You live good, and the people are still in hell. Can't have that. That's a no-no. That's a taboo. That will get your head bust. Know that if you want to stand up as our leader, we're gonna hold your ass accountable. Not gonna be business as usual. We'll talk again. Peace be unto you.